Welcome to the second episode of Peel and Reveal, the podcast where we share stories about joy, purpose, and self-discovery. I'm your host, Anneli Näs, and in this episode, I'm talking with Alfrida Ivarsson. She's a hypnotherapist, inner guide, and yoga teacher. I met Alfrida 3 years ago when she helped me work through the emotion about my mom being sick. Since then, I've become one of her students. In this episode, we get to hear her story, how her journey began, and how she found her purpose. Let us jump right into the conversation. So I wanted to go back in history a bit today to do some time travel to kind of hear a bit on like how did you get into your journey? So like even before maybe hypnosis, like what's Alfrida's story?
Wow, that is interesting to see what pops up. I know that I always been different. Sensitive was the first words that I got to understand myself through, and very interested in the unknown. Like could daydreams for hours and create worlds and just be in other dimension than this physical. Like for me, it was really boring. Everything that got introduced to me as a life or as an option or as a way just drained me and made me very sick. So my body and my system is very, I would say, hypersensitive.
Yeah.
So I got very, very sick early. Like when I was around 20, 21, I had to stop drinking alcohol and have fun the other way that my friends had.
Yeah.
And just find ways. And then I started to look into this, the other side, get in contact with spirits and channeling.
Yeah.
So that was the first.
How young were you when you started to realize that you were a bit different?
In the beginning, it was most like I had a big ego. So I thought everything was about me. And I think everyone do that in some sort of way, but some is doing it more.
Yeah.
I thought that I could sense into, let's say, my mom's friend, and I could be 100% sure she didn't like me. There was no absolute reason for it at all, but I was sure. So I felt that very easy. If people don't like me or people have something against me, and I noticed they also lie a lot. So I also thought that was my fault that they lie. It was just strange.
Yeah.
So when I looked deeper into it, I remember I was around 12 when I realized suddenly from nowhere, like, my mother's friend, she's not liking herself. So it was this constant deep thinking that I had to understand, okay, people don't think like this. People don't reflect this much.
Yeah.
So that could be
and when that happens to you when you're 12, like, how does that work in the real world? Like, how do you cope with that sort of overwhelm while being in school? And was your parents like aware of this? Do they have similar capabilities?
Oh no, and I don't think they would call it capabilities, but I was I was very at the same times very hidden. So I was keeping things so much down. But it's not the true. I was also aggressive, and I was everything.
Yeah.
And school was really hard, but I didn't show it. So it was more when I really collapsed around 20, starting the collapse for real around 20. So I think I managed everything. Like everyone is mostly manage everything until they don't.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how you feel. You're so used to it.
Yeah, that's true.
So it takes so many times. Okay, I don't have to feel like this. Okay, that is yours. That is mine. But who am I? And
yeah.
And just know when you're very sensitive, it's your senses, like you're mirroring in your mirroring neurons.
Yeah. Okay.
They are, all the senses is more sensitive than the others, but it's especially the eyes. You mirror other people like much more. So you take in you copy their feelings. You like You process even others' feelings. Most people maybe only process their journey, their stuff. Of course,
Yeah.
we all are a little bit mashed together, but the highly sensitive ones pick it all in and make it
Yeah,
themselves.
theirs. Yeah. That's super interesting. I have to ask another question about that because we had a discussion this weekend about like which of our senses is the most kind of prominent, and we were kind of like we were listing our five senses to see which one is most prominent for me, which one do I feel most connected to, that I get like most advice from, or most like signal from is maybe a better word. Do you think it's a pattern that it's the eyes for people with your capabilities, or can this vary between people, you think?
It can be very variation. It
Yeah.
can be very different, I would say.
Yeah.
Some highly sensitive are very sensitive in the skin,
Mm-hmm.
or in the loud
Yeah.
noises and stuff. It can be too, but I'm sensitive in all my senses, I would say.
Yeah.
Like, even you can even feel you easily get nauseous. Everything, it's much more sensitive. But I would say the eyes have 80% of all the information that you trust and rely on and really observe.
Yeah.
So somehow the eyes is a huge
Yeah.
dealer with energy and with the information. So this one, just by closing your eyes or just shut down the activity,
Yeah.
you get instant rest.
Yeah.
So that one is most powerful to shut down, at least, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think for me it is the eyes that is most sensitive. So that's why I'm curious. All right, but you turn 20 or something around that. What happens? Like how does it become too much? Why do you become sick?
First of all, I think I was sick like since forever. I wasn't able to go to the toilet as I should, and I had this the other way. I also threw up very easily.
Yeah.
So that escalated when I was around 20. I had to start fasting to get my body be able to clean out. And quit everything that triggered, because I was working in Norway as a hairdresser and it was just too much. It just, yeah. I had panic attacks. I thought that I was gonna die. I called the ambulance. I really thought that I was going to die. And this is super normal. Now we know about panic attacks, but back then we didn't talk about it so much.
I think there is still
So,
many people who don't talk about it. But
yeah,
in
it's
your world, it's
possible. I
super
changed
normal.
my environment a lot. That's all we talk about.
Yeah. Do you know what kind of caused it? Like, was it all the all the signals, all the impressions of being in that sort of environment, or that you had not been like processing everything you had kind of experienced since you were 12, or like?
It was everything, but I had my bosses, the one who, because I was in Norway,
Yeah.
and they had my apartment, and I worked for them. So I lived in their apartment and worked for them. And there was a couple. They were extremely crazy, these people.
Okay.
I went this hair salon that I worked for went to court like 3 times during the 5 years I was there.
Oh wow.
So they first of that it was some sort of psychic abuse on that the working place.
Yeah.
It was not. It was, and I was I was 19 when I started that, and I moved from Sweden. So you are more vulnerable, and you are in there. Yeah. So they
Yeah.
really took advantage of us, and I felt all the time that something isn't right. And so then I started to fight with them, and that was the
trigger.
yeah. When you don't feel safe, when you don't have a home,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
then that
Yeah.
made
That
it.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you do except for like stopping to drink alcohol?
I always been interested in health, like yoga. I started when I was 12 the first times. So it was a lot of focusing on feeling good. I still worked for many years after that. I still work. I never stopped work, but I stopped working in the system, so to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did I do? I just find that this way, like you need to take care of your body. You need to listen to your body, and it took me a long time, but now I feel it's so simple. You must feel what your stomach say. You can't go against it. You will become sick.
Yeah.
And some people can do it for a longer while, but then you have to start listening, and then you will feel, I can't eat this. I can't. I have to calm down. I have to rest. I have to a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm answering too general, but it's really very common things that helped me just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess also like just the act of kind of like removing yourself from the situation probably does a lot. Like,
Yeah.
how did you get the courage to do that? Do you remember?
I think I've been very. They call it, because I went through this most eye-opening education I went to was highly sensitive therapist and yoga teacher.
Mm.
And my God, I forgot what I was going to say. What did you ask?
I
It
asked
just.
if you remember what made you dare to kind of leave the situation, because I guess that is like one of the keys.
Yeah. Oh, the courage to do
Yeah,
it.
courage. Yeah.
Yeah, they called my type for highly sensitive people have different types also. We need these pockets.
Yeah.
But I was this I don't know, I don't remember the word. You know, when you're pretty extreme, you need sensation seeker.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
So I don't feel safe in safe environments.
Ah,
So I have a
interesting.
lot of the opposite. I have to throw myself out
Yeah. Okay. So
and then
that was
learn.
actually kind of
Yeah.
easy for you. Yeah.
Yeah, and I always have a very strong inner reality that
Yeah.
screams like suddenly hypnosis come to my word, like just like a word, and I have to go.
Yeah.
It's just knowing.
Mm. I still kind of we have an advice part here, I think, as well. So for the person who aren't a sensation seeker, then and is starting to get sick based on their environment, I mean, at least from my experience, like getting out has been like key to actually being able to heal.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone in a situation that they have a hard time leaving, but they are getting sick, and maybe it has even gone longer, so they are worried to leave because they are sick?
Yeah. There is only one way out, and it sounds harsh, but if you have a problem, it will not go away, even if you try to. You can try for as long as you can
Yeah.
to be comfortable around it, to do it anyhow, to just suck it up.
Yeah.
And you can actually stay there, and you can actually also die there,
Yeah.
or you can make the change. And will be no one else who will make it for you. And there will be a lot of people trying to stop you. A lot of people, everyone around you will try to make you stay in the shape that they feel safe with that you have.
Yeah.
So whoever we take help, I would say, find a therapist guide or someone who you feel that you can be very transparent with, that you can feel everything with, that doesn't judge you no matter what you think, feel, and find someone who make you help you look at your self-image and everything that you tell yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I'm bad, I can't. All of this
Yeah.
is making us stuck
Yeah.
in where we are.
Yeah.
So I see a very sick society everywhere you look, but Sweden is very sick like mentally and emotionally. So we have this problem that you were asking about. Like, what if they don't dare to make the change? And like, for example, you did a huge
Yeah.
change, so you know it's scary.
Yeah.
But when you started it,
Yeah.
there is no way back, even if you feel like, no, and now I want to stop this journey and not know anything more.
Yeah.
And then you stop there and then you start go
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there is no way back when you start, I think. Or
Yeah.
maybe it is, but then you will feel it so much more. I remember I started taking, so when I've been building up my company, I never really had vacation. Like I was always working, even though I was kind of like on holiday and stuff. And then I started taking vacations. So my first like removing my self from like the internet, which was pretty much my job, was like 4 days, and then it became like a week. And then the first time I had been gone for 2 weeks or like 14 days or something, leaving my computer. And I came back, I could feel the stress entering my body physically again for the first time. And then I was like, oh, okay. if this is actually what's happening when I'm coming back, I'm scared.
Yeah.
And I really need to change something. So that was kind of like, I think for me, the most obvious sign that I need to do something different. But it still took some time to actually do it.
Yeah, and you see it's many layers. You do
Yeah.
first one step, for example, taking help.
Yeah, sure.
And you can start like it also did with us, with your mother.
Yeah.
But the journey wasn't about your mother.
No.
It was all in the end only about you
Yeah. Yeah.
and how you relate to everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And speaking of this, I think like that is also an interesting kind of question, because one of the things that I see that cause the most suffering are relationships. Either relationships you are still in, or maybe relationship with an ex spouse that you might need to, have contact with due to children and so forth. In those situations, especially in the second one, it's not that easy to like really remove yourself. What advice would you give to in that sort of situation?
Can you take it again? I didn't understand exactly what I'm going to answer.
So relationships is a situation where it's a bit harder to like, I would say it's most of the time it's easier to quit the job than to quit the relationship. And
Yeah.
if you do quit the relationship, but you have kids with that person,
Ah,
part of the relationship is kind of still there, but there might be a lot of friction and history and reasons for that part of the relationship to not work very well, but you can't really change it.
yeah.
What would you do then?
I don't believe in that you can't change it. I believe you always can change it in yourself. So even if often there is, or often not, most of the time we have different perspective of the situation and we misunderstand each other and just play out our childhood drama, not trauma, trauma also, but the drama from our childhood.
Yeah.
And if you really work with that, you will see the difference in every relationship. You can actually, someone can be a really, really asshole in the behavior, but if you really go to yourself, heal that part that gets personally offended from it, then you can be patient with person who is assholes because they feel very bad and they need the one who is the worst is really the one who needs most patience and not codependency. It's so different to like stick around and let people. It's so different when you actually just deal with things in yourself. The triggers is in you somehow,
Yeah.
even if you maybe behave better or whatever.
Yeah.
But there is always something you can transform inside yourself, and that is why I love the concept of alchemy, because it's just this high perspective of you can transform anything.
Now I want to get back to you and your story. So you leave Oslo and you start like working on kind of yourself and your journey. You hear the word hypnosis and stuff. What's going on in your like experience around that time? Like, how are you feeling? How what do you know about yourself back then?
I don't know how stressed I am yet. That I realized very recently how stressed I've been. So it's with a lot of up and down, really high. This is what people could call bipolar or so, but I never felt comfortable with diagnosis. Only highly sensitive was the only like that I can relate to. But what did I know? I felt that I felt that I could understand people very well, but I didn't understand what, and I was so involved with everyone. Like I it was no control over it.
So pretty much every time you met a person, you became whatever they were.
Yeah.
And you didn't really have a guide at that point to help you?
I did. It was very strong. I always put I said it like many years ago. I started to say I put my human aside very easily, and I don't know what I mean. I don't know what being I'm talking of, but there is like I have a human. I don't really care super much about my human, and that is for real. I never did. I do in an emotional way sometimes, but in my fully senses, I don't. I feel like I'm here on a mission. And so it's always been like a guidance, that mission. Okay, go from your hometown quick. When I was 18, turning 19, I went directly after school to Norway. And then it's been 12 years of going just where my weird guidance take me to.
I just have to ask, am I talking to your human or you now?
This is me.
Okay.
We can talk about anything. No triggers, no nothing. Here is just.
All right. And then you start, I mean, you said that you're still like understanding stuff with yourself, such as stress and so forth. But what kind of made you come into this path of hypnosis after you left Norway?
I left Norway and I started to do a lot of the media, like what I say, channeling and stuff. And I felt that world was somehow so much mine, but somehow not. There was pieces missing in that because I didn't feel like the typical spiritual people. It wasn't, and I felt it was so boring to actually connect with people's dead relatives. I actually felt it was boring and something wrong with it. Like, is this meaningful? I can understand it somehow to open up other dimensions and a lot of healing work and forgiveness. I'm not there now that I judge it, but for me it was, nah, I don't feel like this is it. So then I found the highly sensitive thing that I really got, instead of only focusing out and guides and the spirits, and instead focus on this guide right here, my body, my energies in so many levels. And then hypnosis come because I still felt like I want to go all the way. I want to understand everything. And hypnosis was that kind of mysticism, but still I like the part that you find your own answers and you heal yourself. You find your guidance.
Yeah.
I'm not your guide. I can go there with you, traveling together. You are the pilot and I your attendee. So you are more of the leader in a session than I am, and I really like that.
Interesting. So how did it feel when you found out what you want, that this was what was your way?
It's like I always know somewhere. But with every year and every time you get more and more contact with yourself, you recognize it. It's nothing new, but you get more and more of it, so you become more and more safe. And that energy actually, like, it takes you. So I would say there is never anything new in this internal journey, even if there is a lot of new perspectives, new new in many ways, but it's still you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of interesting though. It's like sometimes I try to remind myself that time is an illusion. I need that as a kind of anchor sometimes, and I got that feeling when you said that you just the knowing kind of touched up with where you were at, or
Yeah.
something like that.
And
Yeah.
it's interesting you say that time is an illusion, because what is it that we mean with that expression? Time is actually how you relate to the moment. So the more present you are, the more time you have.
Yeah.
And so it's just how you relate to the experience of now, I would say. So that's make time doesn't existing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
It's
super interesting.
yeah, it is.
Like the more present you come, the longer the years become. And yeah, you kind of see more. It like opens up more.
Yeah. And you don't get this like, oh, it gets longer and boring. No, it gets more and more intense in another way of meaning.
Yeah.
And feeling like connected to things, instead of I'm walking here myself. So it becomes more and more like, oh, we are walking here.
Yeah. But when you found hypnosis, like, did you work with hypnosis for yourself first, or did you start working with clients right away, or like?
I started right away because that was my signal when I went to this course. I just walked, like that was the next huge wake up. All these dimensions, all of this experience, to finally get a sense of self in it. Like, okay, yeah, I can be in many places at the same time. Like, I had this phenomena that I never could talk to anyone about. I talk about it all the time now, but sometimes when I sit and specific energy comes, I really shift environment, and I'm not with my whole conscious. I'm somewhere else, but still I'm still at the same place, and I know, like, okay, now I'm in Gotland, for example.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm in Scotland. It was actually a real example, but I realize now Gotland and Scotland.
Okay, so invite us into this. How does it feel when that happens?
It's I would say, a big feeling. This reality here is not enough for what you feel. If you become like, I feel like that is for me being multidimensional, which everyone is, but everyone is not aware of the feeling. Don't feel the dimensions. So how can I explain it? It's just super. Yeah, I can, and this is something I haven't even figured out fully yet, why it happens so often. But I can guess if I go back to my past, it was weird to grow up. I felt,
Yeah.
I'm here, but it's so much more. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I don't know if I can explain it better.
How clear is it for you? Is it like, if you're watching one movie and that is the Gotland movie, and then you're switching channel and all of a sudden you're in the Scotland movie?
My physical eyes doesn't see it.
Okay.
I see Gotland still.
Okay.
But my inner eyes is there.
The sensation seeker is back.
Yeah, exactly. Because sensations, yeah, I want to feel more. I don't want to just.
Yeah. Interesting.
Have you any similar experiences?
Yeah, I don't know how many times, but like a few times in the last few months, and just now, like the other day. So when you're talking, like, I relate to that experience. If it's the same or not, I don't even know if it matters. But
Probably.
yeah, but I do enjoy that. It's like I'm a kid. I don't know what the feeling.
It's exciting. It's
yeah, and I don't want to leave it.
and that is also the limbic system. So when we block all of this experience, when we are, for example, if we make it easy, let's say you're very left-brained, logical mind, then you block a lot of these experiences. And when we are more lucid, like in the limbic system, it's very enjoyable. Also, if you tried psychedelics, I know you have, but I can't out you.
Now you have.
No, I did, and I do too, sometimes here and there. It's the same thing. It can be really not nice also if you are going to, same as a nightmare.
Yeah.
But it's mostly very nice to just put the mind or the logic, rational mind aside.
Yeah. And especially also all... at my last experience, we were a few people and we were talking afterwards about like re-entering society, where it's not only our left brain working, it's like everybody else's as well. And you're like so open and you can take in so many impressions and stuff. And all of a sudden you're supposed to do that in a world where not only yourself, but everybody else is kind of like pushing it away.
Yeah.
Which is kind of why I prefer this like lucid dreaming and having that, because it's so much more approved in society. So it's easier to, it's still not easy because it's super hard to put words on, but it's easier to talk about because there aren't that much resistance to it. Yeah.
Resistant, do you compare to like hypnosis or other spiritual experiences?
Psychedelics.
Psychedelics, of course.
Yeah. Hypnosis, I've talked to with people, and I was listening to another podcast you were in where you got the question if it's like more okay now with hypnosis than it was before. And I think for you, now I'm paraphrasing you, but I think you said that since you've been in it, it's all just been there, kind of like you haven't met that much resistance.
Not very much, no.
No, and I think for me, some people that I talk about that I've, both been going to you for so long and then also now doing your course, some people are like, oh, scared, and like, but like, do you have control? How does it feel like when you're doing it? And my explanation of it, which you feel free to correct me, but like, it's like you're in a very, very, very deep meditation.
Yeah.
So you can wake up, you can do anything, you just don't want to.
You just go. Yeah. You can start talking whenever you want.
Yeah.
But it's not. I've been in that kind of hypnosis where I actually can't come back.
Okay.
But it's not that I stuck for a long time, but I'm so passed out that I have to. It takes some time before I can manage my rational mind back.
Interesting.
But it's not it's like if someone would have just, you can't get stuck in it.
Yeah.
There's like, if you understand what it is, hypnosis is only a state of mind, and it's not when you are awake, you are mental.
Yeah.
Mentally active. That is being awake.
Yeah.
Not in the spiritual world, but in awake.
Yeah.
And what we are going through in hypnosis is we go towards deep sleep, where there is zero activity in the cell. And between there is the subconscious. So if we had the deep sleep, there we have like zero, and here we have maximum activity. You will not feel feeling here or here. Here between, you will process everything. Between fully awake and deep sleep, there is where we dream, there is where things is coming up. Yeah, what you are scared of is, in that case, yourself and what's inside you, always.
Yeah.
It's not, and I understand it can be scary, hypnotherapists, it can be, you doesn't like the therapist, maybe, that is another thing. But it's not so scary.
Yeah.
No.
I'm thinking like every time we talk about this sort of like consciousness, I cannot help, and just for the listeners, my mom was in a coma for a very long time. And I cannot really help but wonder. She's still not. She's not in a coma anymore, but she's not very communicative today, so I cannot really ask her. And I'm so curious to kind of understand from on this scale, what is a coma?
Yeah.
Like, is it somewhere on this scale? Is it another scale? Is it a reverse scale? Like, what is that?
That is super interesting.
Yeah.
Actually, her what I can see, because when you get burned out also,
Yeah.
it's like this I'm not so used to speaking this in English, that is why I can't find the words. This nervbanor, like nervous threads.
The neuron?
Neuro
Yeah.
is
Nerve threads?
electricity that goes around.
Yeah.
It's really like electricity that burns out when you like think too much or are too active in that mind. So it would be very interesting to see what coma is, where her brain waves are, alpha, beta, theta, delta.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where maybe you can try that actually.
How would I try that?
It has to find how do we measure brain waves?
Yeah, we have to put some things on her head, and yeah. But I mean, she's out of it now, so now I think she's like fully awake.
Yeah, right.
She just has a problem with speech.
Okay.
Yeah, and well, not only speech, communication, I would say. But it would have been interesting, and it would be interesting to talk to someone else who has been in a coma, and like, didn't we talk about someone else we knew who was in a coma?
I have been talking about one, but I don't know if it was with you. 8 weeks in a coma.
Yeah, you should talk to that person if that person has
Yeah.
also experienced hypnosis, because it would be interesting to
Yeah.
kind of figure out how alike it is or how not alike it is, and so forth.
What is what?
Yeah.
Because, for example, now I work in this open psychiatry sometime, and they have schizophrenia,
Yeah.
most of them. And because of my work as a hypnotherapist, and there's so many people coming to past lives or this kind of things.
Oh, so it could actually be them like stuck in a lucid dreaming state and very scared of it.
Yeah. And they take a lot of pharmaceutica that isn't helping them to become whole, only to shut
Control.
it out.
Yeah. I experienced one day. I was in a very deep meditation, like, or no, I don't know, it was actually not even meditation. I woke up, but I was still sleeping, so I couldn't move my body. And I interpreted this as a very deep meditation, because one of the techniques I've been taught for how to get into deep meditation is to be completely still. So I wasn't scared of the experience. I was like, oh, this is nice. But then in the day later on, I was like, is this what they mean with sleep paralysis?
Ah, yeah.
And I was like, if that's it, then we can just tell them that there's a deep meditation, and then I don't have to be scared about it.
I think you're actually touching something there.
Yeah.
Because I also felt that you can go so deep in meditation that your body totally disappear.
Yeah.
You are just, and the same is when you are in paralyzed. But the thing is that people used to get panic from not being able to move.
Yeah, exactly.
But I also like it.
But I think like I would have gotten panic if I hadn't had similar experiences before, because now it was like, it was not scary, because I was like, okay, this is what's happening. And then I could kind of see like, it was very slow how my body eventually like kind of woke up, because I got curious and I was like, can I move something? And I was like, no, I can't. And then the more I started thinking like what is possible and not, eventually it kind of disappeared.
Yeah, and you came back to, you become awake.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And could you see how, because you had similar experiences, you relate different to the experience itself, so it became another experience. It wasn't a bad experience, because you just related like, oh, nice.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that is like, if everybody would be allowed to like try psychedelics and really learn meditation, not oh my god, this I used to do the like 10 minute a day meditations, and I was like, oh, I'm so good at meditating. And then I kind of got into real meditation. I was like, that was nothing. Or I don't know if I should even say real meditation yet, because the span of what that was to what I'm doing now is so different that, there might be another long level to this. But if people were open and tried all these things, I think there is so many things in the real world that wouldn't be as scary.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Just to calm down the mind is just, everything will change if you understand that mechanism.
Yeah, exactly. So today, now you have been working as a hypnotherapist for a few years. You are still as sensitive, I assume, maybe even more. Like, how do you live with that today?
You're asking a lot of good questions.
That you've never thought of.
Yeah, but yeah, it's you never thought of yourself, like now I maybe should speak about everyone, but I feel like you never walk around and you look at yourself, but not
from other
in
people's
this
eyes.
way. Yeah, exactly. Of course.
Yeah.
Now I feel like more, instead of highly sensitive and vulnerable, I feel like more. Yeah, I like it. I don't feel sensitive. I am sensitive, but I don't feel vulnerable or fragile. I feel it's very powerful to be sensitive.
Yeah.
Because instead of feeling like you are having this huge luggage, instead I feel like, oh, I have guidance. I have connection to energy.
Yeah.
So I can survive anything. That is the feeling.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
So I relate. That is all I do. I try to just relate. If things comes up, the only thing that matters is how do I relate. And the more I think like that, the more I start to relate in a more nice way to myself. And I relate better to my friends, to my boyfriend, to my family. I become better.
Can you give an example?
Let's say my car broke down or went like crashes.
Yeah.
I can feel like a victim and I can become angry, and I can also just. The car went down. That's fucking frustrating, but let's see. And it's not about neglecting feelings. It's just to understand that this is what it is.
Yeah.
And it's very cliche, and we've been speaking of that for a long time also, but life will always come with friction.
Yeah.
It will never change.
Yeah.
But you can relate to the friction and to the ups and downs. It's not bad with darkness. It's not, the sun is not good and the night is bad. It's just
what it is.
Different poles of experience.
Yeah.
So most of all, I think the most important thing is to understand that you have a very dramatic part of yourself.
Yeah.
And that one plays out all the drama, and the rest of you is not that dramatic. So you can deal with all the parts. I don't know if it makes sense.
This is very interesting. I think I'm getting to a point. I wouldn't describe it as, that I'm relating. I would more say that I'm more okay with stuff. But
like acceptance.
Yeah, more acceptance. But there is so much in society today that is like, oh, you need to get in contact with your feelings and you need to feel your feelings. And I mean, even with hypnosis, we work with feelings to kind of get to where we're going. So what is your thoughts on feelings now then?
I think that is why I usually in the education, I've been talking about this 5 body experience. If we understand that we have like different intelligences and different dimensions of us, we can it's very interesting questions. But you should definitely feel your feelings. And you can feel the drama and really go there, but don't go there to enjoy it. Like, go there to get done with it.
To feel it.
Allow things without getting just hang there, around there. You don't have to be there. You go there with hypnosis to be done with it, but it doesn't mean it will never come back or you get done with all your feelings. No, you just change how you even there relate.
Yeah.
How you relate to your own feelings.
Yeah.
Do you trust your most dramatic self? If you trust that part, when the minute the feeling is done, you will feel like, oh, like you're not fully with that feeling. It's not the truth that come out, but something came out.
Yeah.
So most we need to, we understand that the emotional experience is a build-up emotions. It's memories.
Yeah.
That is your system have to survival. So it's like association and so it's never in the now. The feeling is never now. It's from then. You can feel them now. Yeah, something happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it happened like a few seconds ago. Yeah, that's true. I never thought about that. I was like, but I feel it now. But yeah, it was for another reason. Interesting.
Yeah, the feeling itself, if you track it, like we do in hypnosis, you can come to me and you say, it's something is there. You don't know because it's your subconscious, so it's not your conscious yet.
Yeah.
So we start to feel and suddenly you know a little bit more and suddenly we go deep, we track that and then you will feel younger. You will actually feel like a little or angry or like they are not grown-up feelings. The feelings isn't grown-up.
Yeah.
They are the babies.
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting. I've been taking a yoga philosophy class when I did my yoga teachers training, and he said something like, you have to, like, the first thing you need to do is stop accumulating new, I don't know the word he used, but kind of accumulating, like if you stop accumulating more shit in your body, that was not his words, then you can start working with what the shit you have previously accumulated to get it away. But if you continue accumulating new, like if you haven't like learned how to stop adding on new stuff, then it will kind of be a never-ending story. I thought that was kind of an interesting theory. I've never thought about it like that before.
Yeah, maybe a little bit like this is what just pops up. Like maybe sometimes you have to actually take down the house and build a new structure. Like you can't repair everything and fix everything. Sometimes you need to break.
Yeah, that too.
Go under and just then see what you
build up. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, another thing I read somewhere, heard somewhere, is that a pure feeling only lasts 90 seconds. But if we start thinking about it, it can go on forever. I kind of like that thought. I was like, okay, I can sit with anything for 90 seconds, but please don't take it with me forever.
And it's actually all the feelings.
Yeah.
If you really get to the point that you can allow a feeling.
Yeah.
But then you need to understand that you have strategies, blockers, things that make you not feel it. So it can be sometimes tricky to get to the let go of the allowance of the feeling. That could be the tricky part to get around ourselves, but actually that is the only thing to do, just feel it.
Yeah. How would you teach someone how to feel a feeling?
It's so depending on where you are in your consciousness. Because when we have this PTSD, really stressful, you cannot say just sit with it and breathe.
Yeah.
But I would say to everyone, start with your breathing and learn how to breathe. Then you can regulate your system all the time, and whenever you can actually really regulate is the best word for it, your system. So then you can come to A lot of transformation just by knowing how to breathe.
Interesting. So that's what we should teach children then.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Just breathe.
Yeah.
Because we don't breathe with our stomach. Mostly we breathe up here.
Yeah.
So we get very, we have a lot of tension here. Every Western person, I would say, my boyfriend is from Tanzania, so he's not the same at all with the chakra system. You know about the chakra.
Yeah.
But I can see his blocks is totally different. But here in Sweden, everyone has here.
Can you tell so those who don't see you?
Yeah, sorry. The throat, the jaws,
Yeah.
the back, head, the neck, and down over our hearts. But mostly it's here. We get really stuck in our head.
So like heart, throat, and the third eye chakras.
Yeah, I would say that is the...
And he who is from Tanzania, where is he stuck?
His root chakra.
Root chakra. Ah, okay.
Yeah, and now I'm super racist. I was gonna say I'm not racist. Super stereotypical. This is very stereotypical. Their back spine. They are walking like ducks. Many of them. They really have.
Oh yeah, that's true.
A very open heart, like the opposite of our hearts. There he is walking. But his down spine.
Interesting. I never thought that was the reason, but I do recognize it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. All right. So I want to kind of come back to the alchemy. So I want to ask you, what are you working on right now?
Right now, I'm working on the next education.
Yeah.
That is going to be about really going into all of, we're going to be two persons, me and my friend Ludwig, and he's a very good at expression. How you hold a lecture, how you express yourself, your outgoing energy, and I will focus on the ingoing energy, so that you really understand how you are built up. And then how to, the alchemy, we work with alchemy, transforming, and then how to get it out, get this out, no matter what this needs to, where it's going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this became a very nice segue, because when I, speaking of words, when I asked what you were working on, I actually didn't mean education, but that is perfect. But I mean, what sort of issue are you working on with yourself right now? But this will be a perfect tying it up.
Yeah, maybe that. Yeah. No, I would say the same answer on that question is relating.
Yeah, okay.
That is, I think everything comes down to how, and you can just see this spiral, like how I relate to myself will be mirrored in everything outside myself. How I relate to Candy, how I relate to my grandmother, whatever, how I relate to the street. Yeah. I don't know. And that is a mirror of how you related as a child. So your first relationship in life shapes your self-image and how you relate to yourself and everything around you. Yeah. So I'm just observing myself in relationship with my boyfriend, in what I'm doing, and just trying to
adjust it a bit.
Yeah. Adjust stuff in the system so that we can send out the pure energy. Like, I am tired of this poisonous stuff that we are going, that is infiltrated my mind, infiltrated my relationship, infiltrated the things I do, the things I say. I want everything to be aligned and from love and with love, nothing else. Yeah. But then I have to really look at, how am I? In even the one, you can say, like, it's a pass. Like, you can't compare the partner relationship. That is where you can fight and it's okay to blah blah blah. But I don't want to keep doing that. I seen my parents grow up. I seen a lot of like good families who is the wife is so pushing down the husband. The husband is so tired of his wife. And then this,
Yeah.
it's not how I want it. I want me and my man to be like our rocks,
Yeah.
and I want to be the best version of myself for him and for everyone around me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's beautiful. So if
Yeah.
you would use the alchemy explanation on what you were working with right now, like use that as an example, how would you describe it then?
Okay, this is actually good. Imagine everything is about energy. Then alchemy is, and you see, nature is a big process of time.
Yeah.
In springtime, it's flower, and the summer is flower more, and then it's rotten,
Yeah.
and then it dies,
Yeah.
and then it starts. So the hypnosis is the state where we change state of mind so we can be in another dimension. And the alchemy is where we go in and process things, change it with our awareness, transform it with our expression, and how, like you said, when you feel a feeling, when you get in contact with a feeling and you allow it, that is some sort of alchemy. And then what you do when you're empty the feeling, maybe you can fill it with something like, wow, I'm an infinite being, like maybe some new truth, and suddenly you feel totally different. And that is alchemy. It's magic, but it's very natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very subtle. Interesting. That's it's. I like the beautiful description about the seasons. I think for me, I would describe it a bit. Or I would. It's funny because I would use your words, but that you find something and then you heat it up and then you transform it and then it turns into something else.
Yeah.
So.
And I would think it will, even if we don't go there, it will still turn into something else, because energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only transform. And when we put our energy into it, we can just, like you said, heat it up so that it go quicker, or it happen more, or I point it a little bit, or we can probably just back off and just observe it also.
Yeah.
But it's also fun
To work with it, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying this. I'm getting like, I keep getting, with all the work I'm doing now, I keep getting the message, have faith.
Yeah, same for me. Just trust. That's all
Yeah.
that comes out. And yeah, what you were gonna say?
But that for me kind of means a bit stop working. Because like, since the result of the work is always have faith, I'm assuming that like, okay, so I shouldn't do anything, I should just wait. How do you interpret it?
That is a normal misunderstanding, I think, because everything is plus and minus.
Yeah.
So we cannot only sit still.
Yeah.
We are doing and we are being.
Yeah.
So the trust is, don't worry about how it's gonna be or how the answer will come to you, but you should still do what comes to you. Like, okay, now we're having this podcast. You have no idea exactly what it's gonna be, but it's part of the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you do something to be part of your way, because we don't know the outcome.
Yeah. Interesting. Oh, this is actually really good advice. I think I mean, I cannot stop completely. Like, it's physically impossible.
Yeah.
But I think how I've interpreted, and like when I say that I have some have like put a waiting hold, is like in places of my life where I'm like trying to do a change and it's not really happening. There I kind of like have stopped a bit and then I focus my energy elsewhere.
Yeah.
With your advice now, I think I'm gonna adjust back a bit and then just do what I feel like within those areas and don't only with.
Yeah. Have you heard of Shiva and Shakti? I will not tell the story about them, but these two.
I have. But you need to tell the story now because, you know, whoever listens might not.
The concept of Shiva and Shakti is one of them is the meditation and one of them is life. So if you understand that one part of you is life and one part is the meditation is holding life. And here we can say the masculinity is the one holding the Mother Earth, the female energy, the life energy, and that one is chaos. It's everything in life. And the meditation is there for the life to be living.
Yeah.
And the more you hold it and meditate, the easier is for the life to flow.
And then I want to ask you, who should I have on this podcast?
My friend Emma, she's a hypnotherapist also and a massage therapist. She's also adopted from India, so she has a very cool journey. She's a very loving being who deserves, like, the world should know about her.
Yeah. So I will be happy to ask Emma if she want to be on the podcast.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Alfrida, for recording this one with me again. And it's so interesting that it has become dark around you. Like it has become evening. I don't know if you noticed, but I had my lights on timer, so they all went down, and then I had to turn them back on.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but thank you so much for being on the
Thank you
podcast with
so
me.
much. Thank you for doing this podcast also. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yes.